In any given city, the climate plays a big role about the perception of the city. New York typically changes dramatically when it's raining. This kind of day is a mythical moment for skyscrapers. The beauty of New York City is that people are constantly rethinking how it could be reshaped financially, also physically. As an architect, it's very fascinating. I'm Shohei Shigematsu, I'm an architect. I'm a director of OMA New York. I'm with the company for around 15 years. I'm in charge of North and South America, as well as Japan because I'm from Japan. OMA is like a school. It has a long history of refining and teaching its method rather than the outcome. We always say that we have a style in thinking, but we don't really have prescribed style per se. And also there's a strong tradition in this OMA school to think of architecture as part of urbanism. So you never think architecture as a kind of independent object, but more of a part of a bigger urban fabric. New York has a benefit in having new in its name. New York sounds like there's always new things happening, but in architecture field, not so many true experiments happened for a long time, and I don't know why. I think it's somehow the oversaturation of financial market. I don't know. In the case of Whitney, although we actually got a unanimous approval from the board and even from the landmark, there was a little anxiety that our structure looked a little too radical to get approval from the community. It really comes down to something that is not easily describable because it's a chemistry to the client, it's the economical moment, it's a political issue. All those together, it got canceled. In terms of the condominium, 75% was already pre-sold. The economical model to do that building was based on the pre-economical crisis. Everyone had more optimistic view. In any mature city, you always find this difficulty, and I wouldn't say it's a New York specific issue. At the same time, one can say this is purely driven by economical incentives rather than architectural one. That balance needs to be rethought. It comes down to what people want in this city, better infrastructure or better condominium. Somehow, like past 2 years, we get very unique client who has a unique vision. They want to do some specific project that they believe in. Marina Abramovic's institute in upstate New York. As you might know, Marina Abramovic is a very established performance artist who wants an institution that preserves the long duration of performance. So it's a performance venue and an educational facility as well as preservation facility. Because it's such a long durational that happens in the center of this building, we put all the activities like library and cafe and circulation and gym around it, and made a window from each room so that you can look down on any moment to the performance. You can actually put your head and then observe all the, these windows that are facing down to the performance. It represents an interesting moment in New York office that we are collaborating with many of the powerful individuals rather than the institutions. I always admire this city also because it's kind of tried to brand a specific zone. Over 10 years it changes its kind of commercial centers and it transformed the city completely into a different place. So like Soho used to be a center of culture, but now it's a center of shopping. That kind of drive for me is actually quite, in a way, respectful. I just want to experience the kind of moment where a country is transforming. And architecture actually is very critical to a society or a country or a city when it transforms. And now I have the feeling that transformation is not just about growing, but I'm also seeing, like in Japanese case or even in America, some cities are shrinking. I'm committed to embrace both, not just growing, but also thinning, because architecture can play maybe a big role on both cases, not just when it's ups. In that sense, it's very important for me to be engaged in a society that is not necessarily building the building, but also to find a means to communicate to the society and to be involved in a society as an architect in many different diverse cases, diverse economical cases, diverse political cases. So that's my basic drive.